So hello students, today these are probable questions for 5th semester major students from classical political philosophy, and this is a very small paper. I think only few thinkers are included in this paper, so I don't think it will be so much difficult for you. Whatever maybe, I am giving only the probable question. You read the whole book. So from Plato you can study about philosopher king. So what is the meaning of rule of philosophy, then what should be the qualities of a philosopher king, and whether the system of philosopher king is practicable or not. This type of things may be there. So you have to study all these things. And what do you mean by rule of philosophy? Rule of philosophy means when the political powers are concentrated in the hands of few people or one person who was an educated person, who has no family of his own, who has no property of his own, and who run the administration of the country by fulfilling the interest of his subjects without disregarding his personal interest. That type of administration is known as rule of philosophy. And if you become a philosopher king, automatically you must have to possess certain qualifications or qualities. As for example, he should have very much intention to learn more and more. He should not have any private property. He should be a man of reasoning. Then he should not make any differences between mine and thine, that means myself and others, etc., etc. So number of qualities are there. You may study from your book. And to what extent it is practicable, actually purely the system of philosopher king cannot be adopted in present time or in earlier period also. Even during the time of Plato, even some unrealistic concepts are related with this philosopher king, but some of the things are very good which can be followed still in present day also. As for example, the ruler should be educated person, the ruler should not be a selfish person, the ruler should treat everybody equally, the ruler should not have enough amount of property. So these type of things we can adopt it from his theory of philosopher king. Then second one is communism of family and property. Communism means nothing personal, everything is of community as a whole. So communism of property means the king. On communism of family and property, these two principles are only applicable for philosopher king, not for others. There are three classes of people in Plato's ideal state. They are philosopher king, then the warrior, and that means the military class, and third one is producing class. But these are only applicable for philosopher king. They should not have their own property, private property, and whatever their material needs, that should be fulfilled by the producing class, and they have no permanent family also. Some temporary marriage may take place between the philosopher guardians, between men and women, but they should not have any permanent family. So you study this family and property, what are the basis of this family and property, why he said, and what should be the basis. Then next one is censorship. So if you study about Plato's theory of education, there you will find about censorship. Censorship means to put obstruction on certain things which is detrimental for the interest of the society. So government may put obstruction where? On the literature and music which are going to be taught to the small children. So Plato said the small children, they are very small and they are in formative stage. So whatever is negative should not be taught to them, and that is why any kind of literature or any kind of music, that should be analyzed by the government first, and if necessary censorship or obstruction may be imposed by the government if this literature and music are detrimental for the mind and body of the children. Then women and guardianship, that means whether the women can also become guardian, means philosopher class, whether women can belong to philosopher class. Of course, women can also belong to philosopher class, because Plato did not make any differences between men and women so far as enjoyment of political power is concerned. But he said that if women are interested to become a member of the guardian class, she also should have to come through the elaborate stage of education that will start at the age of 6 years and which will complete at the age of 50 years, and she should have to she should have to come out successfully every stage of education, and she should not have any private property or any family. She should not hanker after his own children, etc. Then only she can also belong to a guardian community. So next one is Aristotle, his conception of citizenship. Aristotle give his definition of citizenship negatively. That means who should not be the citizens. First he mentioned who should not be the citizens, and after that who should be the citizens, and qualification to become a citizens, etc. So there are some differences between Aristotle's conception of citizenship and modern conception of citizenship. He was not in favor of giving citizenship to slaves, to women, etc. etc. Then classification of constitution. Aristotle divided the constitution after studying number of 158 constitutions of Greek city-state. I think he classified the constitution or government, and still or later on, whoever classified the constitution, they have depend on Aristotle classification of government. And Aristotle generally followed two principles for classification of government. One is number and another one is intention. Number means if one person running the administration of the country for the betterment of the people, that is monarchy. But if the same person running the administration of the country for his own benefit, then it will be termed as tyranny. Similarly, if few persons run the administration of the country for the betterment of the people, then it is aristocracy. But if that few person again turn to be selfish, then it will termed as oligarchy. Then if many persons or majority persons run the administration of the country and treated rich and poor people equally, then it is polity. But if they run the administration by disregarding the interest of the rich people, then it will be termed as democracy. So according to Aristotle, democracy was the worst form of government. Then another thing is there in your course, that is Polylicon. That means all the citizens are political animal. Yes, all are political animal. All the human politics is related with power, and all the men are power hungry. So men are not only social animal, they are political animal also, because they are hankering for power. They wanted to become powerful, and that contest started from home, from family to institution to government level. Everywhere there is struggle for power. So man is a political animal. Then Machiavelli. From Machiavelli, you studied about conception of statecraft. Statecraft means what he actually said about the state. That means here you can mention that Machiavelli actually divided the government into two forms, princedom and republic. So what is republican form of government? Machiavelli was actually in favor of republican form of government, but he knew that it is not possible for every person to establish republican form of government. If you are interested to establish republican form of government, that means a kind of democratic government. People should be good enough. Then only it is possible. So what is the difference between republican and princely state? Then what Machiavelli's advice to the prince? Then what should be the rule of religion and morality in state? Is there any difference between the morality of a king and an individual? And what should be the rule of religion? Actually, Machiavelli for the first time make a difference between religion and politics, and he said that religion should not interfere in the political life. On the other hand, the prince will control the religious system, not church. It is the king who will be all in all. So we study about these things. And virtue also here. He never said that king should always follow immoral policies, but if circumstances demanded, then king may adopt various kind of immoral practices, but otherwise he asked the people and the king to follow virtuous principles in their normal life. Then Hobbes' state of nature and social contract. You read about the social contract of Hobbes, and there is no mention of social contract in Locke, but sometimes they give the question and they may ask you to make a comparative study between Hobbes' social contract and Locke's social contract. That is easy. In Hobbes' social contract, the state of nature is very bad. In Locke's social contract, it was not so bad. In Hobbes' social contract, there was only one contract between person and king. In Locke's social contract, there are two social contracts. By one contract, they form the civil society. By another contract, they give their power to the king. But he is the representative of the people, and he should have to follow the instruction of the king, the instruction of the people. Then, then Hobbes was in favor of absolute monarchy. Locke was in favor of constitutional monarchy. Like that, you can make your conception clear so that you can write about that thing. And Locke, laws of nature and rights and property, already have discussed. I have uploaded another video, and all these things are there. So I don't think it will be so much difficult. It will be easy paper, no need to. And from Plato, justice may not come, but from justice, long question may not be there, but short question may be there from justice. What do you mean by justice? Okay. That means then what are the various types of people who are living in the state, and how the citizens are divided by Plato. Plato have divided the citizens into three classes: ruling class, warrior class, and producing class. So what are the basis of that classification? The basis of that classification is the elements of the soul. If some person possesses the quality of reasoning, they will belong to ruling class. If among some persons we find out that they are very courageous, then they will belong to that warrior class. And if in some persons there are some greediness, then lust for power, they will belong to producing class. So that was the basis on which Plato divided the citizens of the state. And why Plato was interested to establish idealistic state. Sometimes the type of question may be there. Plato was interested to establish idealistic because during the time of Plato, there existed chaos and confusion in Greece city-state, and especially in Athens and Sparta. These two city-states are very important and significant. Their unruly situation was there, and Plato was very much interested, not very much, was very much tense to get rid of that situation, to establish a good system of government in Greece. And that is why he actually prepared his theory of ideal state. Most the elements of his ideal state is that justice, then communism of property and wives, then his theory of education. All these are the character of his ideal state. So sometimes small short note may be there. Otherwise, no need to become so much panic. You will get everything common in your question, and read out the book also. So thank you today.